Expired. The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too have heard from every one of my school districts, my cities, counties in my district. I have a very unique district. The center of my district is the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and over the last 50 years, that airport has spurred growth both in industry as well as population. And I started my political career as a city council member and a mayor, so I am someone that has sat in meetings and looked at water projects, road projects, school projects, projects to bring infrastructure to major industry that wanted to locate in our town, and made those decisions based on the fact that the municipal bond rate was a rate that we could take advantage of and expand our infrastructure. I don't think there's any mistake that if Congress decides to do away with the exemption for municipal bonds, for school district bonds, for county bonds, that every single taxpayer in my district will have an increase in their taxes. The cities have to provide infrastructure. They have to provide water, sewer. They have to provide that because they are trying to attract the industry, the very industries that are going to bring the jobs to that town. Now, it might be, for instance, we have in our local town, we have Amazon is bringing a 1 million square foot distribution warehouse because of its proximity to the airport. Could not have done that without a major road project, could not have done that without adequate water, without adequate city sewer, without an adequate workforce who needs schools. So for us to our goal to simplify the tax code, I agree with. Our goal to lower taxes across the board, I agree. But for us to think that we are going to be lowering tax rates for our citizens, in this case, all we're going to be doing is passing that tax down to a different level. Municipal bonds provided the major catalyst for us making those decisions in school districts, in cities and counties across the nation, in every council meeting, every school board meeting, every county supervisor meeting, almost every week are making those decisions to create jobs, create the infrastructure for that. And so my point today is that maybe we need to look at private activity bonds. Maybe we should take a very close look at the entire spectrum, but the core deductibility of municipal bonds, of tax-exempt bonds, all it will do is create a pure tax shift. And I'd like to have each of yours opinion on that comment. Mr. Hodge.
Congressman, I know that property tax issue is a very hot issue in Texas these days, and there's been a lot of attempts to try to control the growth of property taxes. But I would suggest that it's possible that it's the availability of municipal bonds and the ability to borrow that has in some way contributed to those higher property taxes because of the communities and school districts that are over-borrowing and thus taxing their local taxpayers. So it is a circular thing, and so it's a chicken and egg situation. But I would suggest that the evidence shows that if you were to eliminate these bonds, it would actually end up lowering property taxes overall because communities would not borrow as much and spend as much. And so over time, I think that those property taxes and local taxes would come back down. That's what the economic evidence shows.
Mr. Parkhurst.
Congressman, I think your comments are in accord with the nation's governors. I appreciate those thoughts. I'd like to leave you with an interesting data point that I think will help you the next time you have visitors from constituents back home. And not being an economist, I'd like to use numbers, but I can always discount. They are proposed next year of $43 billion in lost revenue to the federal government from the interest exclusion. There's also a projected increase, sale of $400 billion in new issuances in muni bonds. It's about a 10-to-1 ratio. That's a pretty good leverage ratio for the dollars.
All right, thank you. The gentleman's time has expired. Ms. Black.